It's time for Power Hour.
Hello, traders. Welcome to the Juneteenth stream or whatever. Stock market's closed today. It's a holiday, but crypto is 24/7, so here we are, and not much is really going on. Only one asset's catching any sort of action that's good, and it's Bitcoin Cash. But yeah, just the things to talk about on Bitcoin. Been gone a couple days. I went chasing some storms up in Kansas. That is where I've been and been absent. So if you follow me on Instagram, though, you can keep up with all that stuff. But hey, Scott Carney's in the house. What's up, dude? Hype in the chat. Scott Carney, Harmonic Godfather. He's here. And yeah, so the situation on Bitcoin is going to be like, your eyes are going to gloss over. You're not going to be happy about this analysis, whatever you want to call it. But that's just how it is sometimes. We're looking at an asset we look at every single day. Typically on most assets, tons of assets, we won't look at them ever until there's a good opportunity to swing trade. Good reward to risk, good structures, an edge on the market to where we have greater than 50% chance of a certain level of resolution, what we want, higher levels, 3-to-1 reward to risk, all that. But Bitcoin, we look at it because we understand fundamentally what it is. It's individual sovereignty, it's decentralized, it is financial energy. As our purchasing power continues to collapse in real time, I saw a chart, I think I posted on Instagram, where since 2000, money in a savings account is down like 60+%, 68% or something. Anyway, so that's what Bitcoin is. It is just a lie detector test. We know no matter who's in power, they're not going to be fiscally responsible. There will continuously be monetary debasement, and Bitcoin is a financial weapon to defend yourself against that debasement. So that's why we look at it first every day. It doesn't mean there's going to be an edge. We use traditional technical analysis for risk management purposes. That's it. We're not here to forecast. We're not here to try to predict where Bitcoin's going next. And very rarely, Bitcoin's going to have an edge. Rarely. Just like every other asset. But here it is. And it's coming off a 50% rally in 42 days. Bitcoin is essentially trading at the same price it was trading at 186 days ago. Not very hype. Unfortunately, most of the time Bitcoin's not going to be hype. And that's what draws people in to go crazy, hey songs, all that. So currently Bitcoin's trading below a key inflection zone. As you can see, it's not an opinion. Candle closes from December, January. Wick high, you can clearly see it's very real. If we get above all those levels again, we might be in really good shape for price discovery. We're talking 114, 120 and beyond. But until then, you just can't say that. The buyers have failed a multitude of times to breach that resistance. Clearly you can see in late May and early June, and just recently in mid-June. So now it's just, you're in that period of the year where there's not much volatility, typically. I mean, if you remember, first off, you were sideways for 8 months, and in the summer you had that. I mean, you had that period. Yeah, you had a drawdown in June. You had a crazy flash crash in late July. So, and then look at this summer in 2023, May all the way to October. Nothing, man, nothing. Look at this period in June to July, September, nothing happened. I mean, almost every summer, it's how it is, man. Selling may go away in a lot of ways. So we're just dealing with that low volatility, lack of movement, low volume situation. But hey, who cares? We are removed from all-time highs only by 6.5%. I would much rather be in that situation than in 2023 summer or 2024. But yeah, no edge. You might be, how we're looking at it, you could be just some downsloping consolidation, and you're at the heart line. What does that mean? Neutral within neutral. Right, the top end of this maybe consolidation structure, top end is going to be 109.358, the old all-time high from January 20th. The low point of this possible structure is going to take you all the way down to 99K. The cool thing about it, top end and bottom end, they are confluent with resistance supports from history. So it's getting more like flip your coin 50% chance we're going to see 109,358 next, and then flip your coin, it lands on the other side, you're going to 99K. That is unfortunate because people want to hear more. They want to hear Bitcoin's certainly going to 120 and it's imminent, but I can't tell you that. All right, I just can't. So I'm just trying to keep you grounded. I know it's just the longer it's sideways, the less people want to listen or hear. We could go to the 4 hour. You can see above my head. Hey, I mean, like there could be something developing on the 4 hour, a very insignificant time scale where, look, dude, this level, this more minor 1026, 103 level that we've had plotted since late last year, they violated, they recaptured, and then they reconfirmed it as support. So momentum began to shift possibly back in the hands of the buyers, but then a lower high got put in. There's such a lack of demand, they could not even test the old all-time high from January 20th, and you rolled over, but here you are. Just maybe attempting to put in a local form of confirmation with, if you can even believe it, some 4 hour bullish divergence actually there. RSI, again, this is the 4 hours, take it with a grain of salt, but my God, with bullish divergence, they're defending the threshold of the bearish control zone. They're not letting it fall into that, which is cool. So that's what I'm saying. It's more like you just got a neutral situation on Bitcoin. It's not super bearish and it's not super bullish. It's just not right now. So there are just different ways people can interpret things. Okay, it's like the bad side of things would be 99.3, 100K, and the good side of things is going to be 109,358, and that is established by, again, this downsloping consolidation structure that it looks like has been in development now, is developed. Okay, I know people want to know, they want an edge, but it's rare that you get an edge on any particular asset on any given day. That's why you have to scan through thousands of charts to find good setups. Yep, not easy. Yeah, so, and the other thing that kind of sucks about the macro environment is you got the war stuff. Every tweet is on a Saturday, or it's market's closed tweet, crazy tweet that could alter the course of reality for the world. So, oh boy, the VIX is spiking. That's, an unstable environment for the macro. And then you certainly got the index funds that are at, deep retraces. So, we can go to Ethereum next, but I'm just going to show you here. Let's go to the S&P 500 futures. All right, just like here we are. I mean, you were looking at an asset or an index fund, whatever, a blend of funds or a blend of assets that recovered 26% in 65 days. That's pretty freaking good for an index fund. But the issue is you are not making higher highs yet. You've just hit that deepest threshold, right? Potentially a value perceived area for short sellers. On the close just a few hours ago, you made the lowest daily candle close since May 30th. So we're talking just about 3-week lows on the index, on the S&P 500 futures. So this is typically where you catch some sort of reaction or pause. Okay, it may not react. If it pauses, that's good. You want to pause here because that's all right. The seller should be showing up. If they don't and you pause, then you got a good chance of completely dudding out and buyers come in and we break way higher. So that's where you are. I mean, you're at a point where, is it a good area of value to long? Absolutely not. It's just not. But hey, index funds, you got to think about every 2 weeks. Every freaking 2 weeks, millions of people's paychecks auto draft, right, into their 401k, in turn going into these funds. So that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping for it to just pause, weak pullbacks, stay above the 200-day simple moving average, and then maybe a little later we break way higher and to all-time highs and then beyond. Okay, so that's just, we're sitting here in the middle. It's not summer yet, right? Isn't it summer starting? The summer solstice is literally tomorrow, I think, is the longest day of the entire year. So you're in that sell in May, go away situation, low volume, people are on vacation. It is a dead time for the markets. Just is. It's reality. So you just have to know that. So that's where we are. So can you be surprised if some sort of pullback occurs here? You can't. Just like you couldn't be surprised when this bullish or bearish deep crab completed, reacted, and eventually reversed. You can't be that surprised. So it's tough to be like, oh man, I can't wait to go long on a stock because of just where we are. I mean, there was time. There was a good, what kind of period of time? I mean, since the bottom, I mean, we're going on 70 plus days, 2.5 months of time for, you to make some money. And now it's just stalling out at a deep retrace. Okay, whatever. It's the same situation on the NASDAQ futures. Show you here. You're just sitting at around the deepest retrace. You are very close to all-time highs. I feel like, I cannot be surprised if we see all-time highs, because one of those Mag 7s are going to catch bids and keep this thing propped up. But we haven't yet. We were very, very close. What did they do at the highest point on June 11th? $22,100. That December 17th, 2024 high. They just perfectly tested it as resistance and nothing else. And same thing, you had the lowest daily candle close on the NASDAQ futures hours ago since May 30th. So that's where we are. Yeah, I think it's just a neutral, like Bitcoin's neutral, and there's no edge. And the 4 hour, like someone could, again, 4 hour on Bitcoin, you could look at it and say, hey man, they're confirming a higher low. Here was the lowest low, right, of the pullback. Here's a low, and here's a second potential low that they're putting in. So there could be, so momentum shifted into the hands of the buyers, right? Because you made a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, but all of a sudden a higher low. So momentum shifting. And if they're putting in a second bottom here, they could be confirming that momentum is shifting back into the hands of the buyers. This is real-time data. This didn't exist 3 days ago. This new data we're looking at right now. So you have to take it day by day up at these extreme levels with the failure from buyers to break them for real. Just up thrusts, failures, 886s, reversing. So we're in power hour. And I really do hope that the divergence we're seeing on the 4 hour, this local confirmation low, I really do hope it takes us back to 107, 106.9, 108. That would be your target if this started playing out up there. So your upside potential, if this started running, would be about 2% to 3% upside. Nothing crazy. Okay, it's just a level in the sand, 102.6 to 103. And yes, Jerome Powell, he chose that there was a 98% chance that the rates were going to remain unchanged. And what happened? Unchanged. So market sideways, nothing. Okay. So anyway, that's your Bitcoin. Unfortunately, super neutral. Long-term uptrend, of course, and this is why I made the meme. I think yesterday I made this meme, okay? This is all the buzz. If you're watching this stream, this is all the buzz on crypto, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, okay? You have two different kind of situations where there's an M2 that is really high and Bitcoin's pretty much right here, right around all-time highs. And there was a pause on M2 with an 84-day lag, I believe. And people are thinking, hey, Bitcoin just follows M2. So what's going to happen? Bitcoin's going to run to all-time highs and go to 130, 150. That is one idea. That is people are trying to make sense of what's happening right now. Neutral technically, but people are theorizing that 130 to 150 on debt soon. But then there are other people that are looking at this as just a fractal of 2021, where, you know, you made a high, you sold off a lot, and like 5 days or something, you lost like 30-40% of your value because China banned mining. And then you were rallied later in the year and you hit an all-time high, 69K, 65K, 69K, once and twice, and then it was over. And people are saying, hey, it is the same thing going on. These are both valid ideas. I mean, right? Like, but completely opposite outcomes depending on which way we go. And that's not helpful to anyone if you care. That's why I made this meme, because it's like, what do you do? Bitcoin speculators. This one. It's not easy. There's no value on Bitcoin just because 50% rally in 42 days. But at the same time, it's the strongest asset in the entire world long term. So I don't think it will really matter if Bitcoin, the 2021 fractal plays out, because I think it'll make a higher low eventually and it'll run again and hit all-time highs later in the year. Please understand, I am rooting for the M2 Bitcoin correlation all day. I want all-time highs tomorrow. Okay, that's what I want. But there's no way to know. There is literally no way. Don't let anyone tell you that. Like, there's a framework to help you manage your risk optimally. There are structures that develop at key inflection points. There's price action correlation to those levels that can increase your probability of resolution upward, so it's easy to construct a trading plan. And that's it. Beyond that, everything's speculative, Rudy Poo, fortune telling. Hey bro, I need some clicks and some views, so I'm gonna say we're definitely going the M2 Bitcoin correlation route. But I can't do that. I have to say there are two arguments. There are different arguments. And hopefully that's why you watch, because you know I'm never here to try to blow smoke up your butt. I'm trying to be as neutral as possible. And if the framework doesn't exist for proper risk management, all we can do is talk about levels and talk about trend analysis. Okay, so end rant. That was pretty much a 20-minute rant on the situation we're in on Bitcoin. So what I'm saying, like, okay, we just randomly, okay, someone requested this, I think a couple streams ago. What are you talking about? The framework. It's a framework. It's something that never changes. It is there. It is a rock, and the markets are the river. Sometimes they sync up, and look, this is a perfect example of one of the frameworks. There are multiple frameworks, okay, for risk management. One we love is the harmonic framework developed by Scott Carney, okay? It is never going to change. It's always going to be this right here. The M shape develops. Sometimes the context of the M shape is way better than other situations. You get the reaction, which is typically a high to low, 38% retrace minimum, all the way to 61% retrace. That's what gives you a valid reaction. And then eventually the buyers relent, the sellers take over, and a retest occurs. And on the second low, if there's favorable price action, hopefully at inflection point, and you start seeing that, you could start saying, hey, it's a good level to manage risk optimally because we have an edge. And guess what? VITL, Vital Farms Incorporated, started catching a little fall through or a little bit of favorable price action at a key inflection point. This is not a joke. It's just there. Bottom of a range, whatever you want to call it. And then, in the past 2 days of trading, VITL, I mean, it went up 14.55%. It broke above the 200 moving average. It was the highest daily candle close since May 19th. Okay, it was easy to set a stop loss up somewhere strategically. And anytime you're longing at supports, most of the time, or inherently, you're going to have maximum upside potential. And you knew if this was going to actually play out and not get stopped out, your upside potential minimum was like $41, $43. So it's a good start to the framework. But at the same time, we're not acting like we know where it's going next. We just know, hey, cut your losses tight, fast. If it fails, it's strategic. It's the reason why there's a reason to not own VITL ever below 29 bucks ever. Implications would be dramatic to the downside. It would be awful, and it could still fail. It could still crap out. They can't break the local 3681, and it fails later. But whatever. At this point, for a swing trader that got in on the trade setup, someone could maybe move up their stop loss to their entry, to where if it fails, you get stopped out. You're losing nothing now playing with, right? Because it's up, anyway. So that's just what I'm trying to interpret or articulate to you, the viewing audience, is there's no fortune telling. It's just tried and true frameworks. Okay. So anyway, we can go to Ethereum. And a situation, man, where, sorry, I got all these alerts, been traveling, so sometimes they get overlapped and all that. But Ethereum's in a situation that's pretty neutral. Pretty neutral. Same time, we know the line in the sand on Ethereum is $2,400. I think there is an argument and a reason to not own Ethereum below that level, because I think your target would be $2,100 to $2,000. But hey, man, if somehow good stuff happens on Bitcoin and you never get stopped out, right? You'd have a strategic stop there to protect yourself from massive losses, because it's crypto, man. But hey, if this is one low, a second low, and just think about the price action here. On the date of June 5th, they tested 2,400. June 6th, you reacted off of that. That's very nice. Cool to see positive price action correlation to a key level identified a long time ago. And this time, after the sell-off, after running up and hitting resistance, a sell-off again. And now there's, I guess, so much demand for now that the sellers are unable to test $2,400 again. But they did in June. They did in May. Is that a subtle sign of strength? It could be, until new data comes in to refute that, which could. So stop somewhere below 2,400 if you care, if you want to be long on Ethereum. You're like, hey, dude, institutions are selling some Bitcoin to buy Ethereum. I think staking is at its highest level. I don't know. There are some things fundamentally that are okay with Ethereum. So if somebody cared, they'd have that stop there, and they'd probably say, maybe I'd be taking profit at $3,000. 3,500 will be a second target. That's all you can do in these kind of neutral situations, is look at the levels and protect yourself. If somehow you catch unfavorable price action violently, you're out fast. But if you never get stomped out, you can ride the wave. You can ride the breakout of the multi-month downtrend, the recapturing of 1728, 50% rally in 3 days, which has turned everything around maybe. You could ride the wave to higher prices while also protecting yourself in case that completely Bart Simpsoned back down to maybe $1,800. Okay, so that's where we are on Ethereum. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry I cannot give you what you want to hear. I can't. Hey, it's Crypto Hoarder, man. What's up, dude? What's up, Steve, B, and JR, and Andrew? Chip Flipper. Scott Connie says amen. That's it, dude. That's it. This is the lens in which one should be interpreting the market. The other ways are dangerous, I think. A lot of ways. If you're not looking at the markets the way I'm trying to interpret it to you, it is dangerous. You can get caught up in really bad situations not looking at the market this way. What's up, Scrog? Wall Street Mafia, man. Weird times, very weird times. This market is, it makes 2024 look like T-ball in a lot of ways. It really does. I mean, we hold on. I have to turn off my washing machine. It will beep. It will not stop beeping. So one sec. Okay, we're good now. Sorry. So let's go. Let's move on, right? If you want to see more assets, let's do it. How about XRP? That pump and dump, it was such a fake out. It never invalidated the idea of that head, that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It never invalidated it because they never took it higher than that right shoulder. That's what typically invalidates a potential head and shoulders argument. But at the same time, after the fake out, buyers are somehow defending this effing level. Make it make sense. It is beyond neutral. You cannot do it. These markets are so difficult because they're not letting supports break, and any move up is just getting smacked down. No volume. Dead market right now. Very dead market. Okay, you want to protect yourself? I guess a stop below 208 and say F it and let's just pray the Bitcoin with its coin flips on tails because it never fails, right? And you head on up to way higher prices. That's where you are on XRP. Stupidly neutral after that failed pump and dump, but no breakdown yet. But again, like Ethereum, stop loss below 2407, $2,400. Okay, just in case. In this situation, if you cared, probably a stop loss below 210 a little bit. And just say, all right, I know what's happening. If this really breaks down, like with resounding price action, impulsing, you're going to 196 and 190. But my God, dude, this is why you cannot expect anything on any market. You expect that something will happen, but you just cannot, even if the structure's there, you can't be like, I'm all in idea that it will play out. That is the perfect way to get wrecked. Because I've seen many head and shoulders fail after a failure from sellers to break a neckline. And this time they're not letting the neckline break, but they're not letting the price go higher. Neutral, beyond neutral, beyond neutral. Oh my God, losing my mind. Easy market, hard market. Hard market. Yep. Solana, same thing, man. Like, not really holding up at a key level at all. Very kind of random. It's just they're holding this local April, May low. And it's maybe one and it's maybe two. It's maybe a confirmation low. It could be. But confidence-wise, there's nothing that implies that it's definitely happening and we're definitely going way higher next. They could take this to 135.81 or 130 and they'd be more formal tests of more key levels. Very strong things have happened at those levels. Not so much here. So, dude, it's tough. Like, when you're correcting, but they're trying to put in a bottoming base a little bit. Okay. Stop below 142 if you cared about this little local level. But, man, you see, you gotta set up, the problem with this one, you set up a stop there, and it goes to 135.81, and it's a more optimum area to take along anyway. So, okay, it's just bunch of chop, man. Bunch of chop at not very good levels. It's not going to be a good trade setup, even if it went to 160 tomorrow. That's typically, most of the time, how it is on any asset, on any day, anytime you look at it. Yeah, you got to really look for good setups. Like I was saying on Vital, like that. Someone requested that on stream because they invested in themselves and they learned the language. And wow, it looked good. Just like BABA, just like VLO, just like Tesla at times, just like many assets, there's this space-time continuum where there is a perfect risk management situation with an edge. Greater probability of higher next, not lower. And then the rest of the time, it's not like you're flipping coins at weird levels where you can't manage your risk optimally at all. Oh, Ethereum stuck. Yeah, sorry, sometimes. Let me fix that. Yeah. Didn't see that. My bad. There it is. It's fixed now. Thank you for telling me. Okay, so whatever. BNB. Okay, it's like at a point where, hey, is it head and shoulders? It could be. But it also could be where buyers defend this level and it could be the best place to have a stop loss set up below 630 and let it ride to all-time highs, 691, 730. Like, I'm not here trying to act like I know where this thing's going next. A seller could have an argument for a momentum shifting structure to the downside But the buyers on the other side could understand. I mean, I understand how I see this, and the sellers are not, or the buyers are not letting this go lower than a dangerous level. Like it's danger below 621. Like that'd be a big cutoff. I would not want to own BNB below 621, but you're above it. You had some positive price action. They're not letting it fall. You're above the 200 or right at it. So it's like Ethereum, and it's kind of like XRP, where there are levels with someone, if they wanted to, they could own it and have protective stop losses set up just in case Bitcoin pulled a Bitcoin, and when that M2 chart ended up playing out, we're going to 130, 150 soon. There are ways to own these other ones to be involved, be a market participant, and owning. Unfortunately, chip liver. No, it was a bust day, but still some beautiful pictures and videos. So, yeah, it's never disappointing going up there. Just because like the strength of the supercells is so powerful. Like you just don't get anything like that where I live down here in Miami. It's been a drought, a really bad drought this year. There's been almost no weather activity outside of the time when I was trying to catch a flight from Vegas to Miami, and my flight got canceled. Of course, then there was activity, but other than that, less than trying to catch a flight, no weather. It's drought, dry, boring, very boring. So going out to Kansas and catching supercells that could be tornadic or not, it's powerful. I love it so much. So anyway, just remember, I mean, even as you're storm chasing in the regular season, where it's very predictable of severe weather, you still only have about a 10% chance of catching an actual tornado in the peak storm season. So think about that. It's a numbers game thing. So I'm very lucky, considering my last time I went out there, we went to the place where it was predicted there would be storm initiation, and we just got lucky, and boom, tornado happened. 10 minutes, it was over. And there was no other tornado, I think, in the state the rest of the day. All right, look at XRP. So those are the big ones. We looked at all the big ones. Let's look at like total market cap. Pausing after pretty much completing a shark pattern, perfect bear shark. I mean, great criterion, that 886, 200% confluence. You're just going sideways, man, which is a pause for now. Lower highs and no lower low than the previous low, but could be like bull flag interpretation. But very neutral. If you're not at the bottom of the flag, you're not at the top, you're near the heart line, that is flipping coins. You're just in a coin flip situation. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to watch when that's going on. I get it. Yeah, that's right. Bitcoin Cash doing the thing, man. Well, I tweeted about this one because it's super incredible. I mean, like in terms of what they've been doing. He was a dragon, and the dragon tail is wreaking havoc on Middle Earth, just as the Bitcoin dragon did when it broke out and they back tested the key level and the supply line as support. Ran up again, but then went sideways and confirmed a bottom above 372. And now look at you, you're up on mega breakout watch. Where does this resistance take you? All the way back to 2020, 2019. So very big deal here. To break this could have extreme consequence to 886, where Bitcoin currently is. High to low here. See, you're at a 61.8% retrace. You got a perfect godlike reaction May 8th at the 618. Went sideways. Now you're up against it again. You're trying to break it. So you'd think on the second time, they're probably going to break it. You go to these deeper retraces, 555 and 594. 554 or 594 is the 88% retrace, and that's where what's a dragon? A premature harmonic. And you got something like this. Oh yeah, I've seen this story before. Wait a second. Bitcoin, the same thing. When they broke out, the same pattern. Eventually you ran to the 88% retrace. They paused there for like a week, and then you hopped. You went higher, but still in the 100% retrace, 102% retrace. And you're just pausing right now. So that could, that could be, and this was the 618, by the way, high to low, 61% retrace, and then you ran again. And so that's where I'm thinking Bitcoin Cash could be having the same fate if you give me enough time. But it was, forget the daily, it was the monthly. That was unbelievable. Yes, the 2017 swing low reversal area. Reversal area in 2023. One time they tried, buyers defended in August last year. And now a second time, buyers defended 2025. And look at you now. You just wonder, like, how high can this go? I mean, at least 633 from where you are right now. It could be, 11 days to go in the month. It could be up another 30% this month if this keeps going, if they break that one last level. So it's just structures. Potential confirmation low at key level. Right, positive price action correlation to the level. That's what it's about. Showing positive momentum again. Starting to build. Nice. How's that RSI? 57, getting close to the bullish control zone threshold. Nice. I think we exceeded the 5.0 Echo Leaf. I know you're talking about. You're like, hey, here is the, like, that's too deep, right? I mean, 618, you can go to a 618 on these too. See, that thing went to a 786 though. But I guess on the candle close 618, if you wanted to get really high on some hopium, you could be like, Bear Shark has turned into some sort of maybe pseudo bullish 5.0 with a type 2 return. I don't know how Scott would feel about that. But yeah, I mean, could be. And there's bullish divergence on the 4 hour even. I mean, the oscillators look great on the 4 hour actually if it holds here. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't be super bearish, but I can't be super bullish either. Like, you have to be more neutral and cautious here. A 4 hour butterfly. No, you're talking about, well, we discussed that, right? Last stream. I streamed. It never became invalid. It was so close. I was like, oh, it must be already dead. The idea. There is still a very small chance, okay? There is a shimmer of hopium to get high on, and it is the potential deep crab situation. Premature, it's very early. This could die tonight. It could be dead and invalid. Because once the sellers take out 1029, it's no longer an argument, okay? But this is just an idea. Okay, your invalidation of the idea, again, below 102.8, 102.9, the C point. It could be a hyper wave structure in development, and your new wave would take you all the way to $119,000. That is the most, right? We're talking about what can happen. Like, there could be a confirmation low on Bitcoin on the 4 hour, but also you could be confirming a top at resistance, definitely, right? But then, hey, there's also this idea too. So not leaving any stone left unturned. Okie dokie, roll tide, dude. Scott seems bearish, expecting 93. Well, again, I don't think Scott does real expectations, okay? Because we don't act like we know, because we abide by Mark Douglas principles. But 99.3, you could also look at this like down sloping consolidation. If it ran, we just talked about, you're in the middle of what could be this neutral consolidation, fine. If they take it to 99.3, we said 93, but if it goes to 99.3, no, it wouldn't be weird, because it would be contained within the parameters of this newer structure. Just as easily as it wouldn't be that weird if we ran up to test the top of it at 110. I can't get super bullish again until we're breaking $110,500, because that's the previous swing high at this point, back from June 10th. 110.5. And that would get us back above all the key levels. Until then, yeah, you got to say, I cannot be surprised if we're seeing 99.3 next. That would be on deck if this was all real, because even that pump we saw on the 16th, not very good. I mean, it's some pretty bad price action. They smacked it down. It was cool to see that they were at one point intraday at 109, and they were breaking this high from December 17th. But in the end, Trump tweeted the Israel stuff, the VIX. It causes the bots to like freak out, man. And it closed lower than most of the levels, and then a bearish engulfing candle the next day, which then like confirms, yeah, you're back below all the big levels you really desperately need to be above if you want to see way higher prices soon. Jake, you're wrong. That's not true. It is not always 50%, 50-50 up or down. It is not. No. Most of the time it's that. But you understand. There are times when you have a better argument for upside than downside. It just takes time to have structures develop that give you an edge. I mean, you cannot tell me there was a 50% chance that BABA was going lower. There was not. There was a greater than 50% chance of the harmonic and the classic accumulation structure at the key support. There was a higher probability of up than down in this situation. But guess what? It took from November 2022 all the way to June 2024 for this entire structure to develop and mature and be at key levels where one could optimally manage their risk with tight stop and good upside if it succeeded. It's not always 50-50. It most of the time is. On most assets, on any asset, on any given day, you're probably going to look at it and it's probably going to be a coin flip. That is why you have to scan. You have to put in the work, invest in yourself, and learn the framework and have a nice watch list to go through high volume assets that, whatever. And then you set up another watch list. Once you find ones that are promising, that could be showing the framework for an edge and good risk management, you start adding them to another watch list, or you flag them or whatever. You can have different types of ways to keep up with the good ones. But that's the work you have to put in as the analyst / swing trader. It's a lot of work. It's not, for some, it's more fun than others. That's for sure. What's up, JR Ford the third? Hype in the chat for being the third. Silent, what's going? What's still going? Well, I've been live 48 minutes. It's not gonna be a long stream, dude. It's Juneteenth. I typically celebrate the holiday in private, so you're really lucky I'm here today. Okay. So those are your bigger cryptos. The Bitcoin Cash is doing stuff. Nothing else, dude. Market is virtually dead today with the stock market being closed for the holiday. We looked at a couple of the futures. We can look at the Mag 7. No requests. I don't think we'll ever get another request ever again. I think it's just, this is the way it's going, man. Yep, stuff that worked as a live streamer is not working anymore. Okay, you're watching a 7.5-year career of live streaming doing this, and not much I can do. Yeah, it's just that's the way of the world. Things are changing. People are doing other things. The economy is really bad, and it's just how it is. Scam coins will never recover, really. There used to be 3,000 one cycle. Then there were 18,000 the next cycle. Then the next cycle, 36 million. Most of these alts, talking 99%, will never recover. And a lot of that speculation and the retail came from scam coins, because Bitcoin's never going to change your life in a positive way if you don't have much capital anymore. It's never going to do it. So people were degen gambling on scam coins, and it worked, but it doesn't work anymore. That market's gone and may never return. Money printer went burr.
Can you look at Lulu? It's been selling off crazy. Where would be a decent entry?
Hey Gills, thanks for the contribution, dude. $20. Thanks, dude. Sure, we'll look at Lulu Rumam. Yeah, man. Jonathan, is the VIX still developing bullish structure? Yeah, let's go to the VIX. Let me show you real quick. It's different on different charts, but the Capital Calm one, that's live all the time. It's scary. I think I showed Scott Carney it too. I mean, it's down 3%, whatever. But dude, there is like a very real like M shape and like an actual type 2 return been in development. I think, really 86 days. It's just like, what's going to happen? Is someone going to get nuked? Because if this somehow plays out, you're going to like at least 28 bucks. If it went to aggressive harmonic traders top, target 36. I can't even imagine if this plays out what's going on, and they're just showing higher. You're in an uptrend on the VIX chat. Yes, you hear me? You're in an uptrend on the VIX. Higher highs, higher lows. You're skating above the 200 simple moving average. My God, yes. So you asked the question: is the VIX developing bullish structure? It's here. It's developed. It's like if the framework, which dude, it's the VIX, so you take it with a grain of salt, all right? Patterns on this are a little bit more tenuous. I don't ever really do technical analysis so much on the VIX. I just can't ignore what I'm seeing. I kind of can't believe I'm seeing this. Because if this is implying way higher prices on traditional markets, right? Like hey, if it was Google or it was Bitcoin or it was even an S coin in a lot of ways, BABA, right? Like you're like, dang man, impending upside resolution, higher than 50% chance of higher next, not lower. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like if it was to respect the TA, we would say there is a high volatility event impending, and I almost can't believe it. It can't be that easy that the VIX would be actually implying that something that hasn't happened yet is about to happen, and it's gonna be crazy. So I'm hoping and kind of praying, due to the circumstances of what's going on in the world, I'm praying that the TA is disrespected, hardcore disrespected, fails, harmonic dud. That's what I pray for. What is a type 2 return? A type 2 return is a form of confirmation. Okay, think about a double bottom, right? A sell-off occurs, and eventually some buyers come in and stop the selling. Okay, well, and a lot of times that happens at supports. So it's riskier traders and bots that are scalping typically at supports and just hoping that a rally ensues. And a lot of times it does happen, but typically after the scalpers have, they're leveraged at these levels, they have stop losses that are tight, it's a riskier trade. The rally that you get on type 1 reactions, the first low at supports, typically is short-lived. It doesn't last long. And again, if someone's scalping and they're levered long, you don't need much of a move up to make a lot of money. And so eventually that'll happen. The buyers will take profit, the scalpers will take profit, and then a retest of the level will occur again. All right, it will happen, and then it'll take time, and sometimes you'll catch favorable price action again, and that's pretty much the psychology of the buyers are defending a key level for the second time. First time, no one really knows. Second time, people gain more confidence to believe that a bottom is being put in at a key level, and so far more market participants think it's a low risk situation, and then they go long, and they can set up stop losses tight like the scalpers. But on the second low, it's just a form of confirmation. And as a swing trader, anytime I try to teach, it's better to always have a form of confirmation, always. And that's what the type 2 return essentially is. Okay, so that's it. Knock Life, did that help? Are you still here? I don't know. No one's here really. It's all good, dude. It's all good, man. So that's your VIX. I pray to God whatever we're looking at fails. I just hope we're at 12. Okay, we go back to 12 again. That would be great. Great environment when the VIX is at 12, 13, 15. Great environment for a swing trader on macro to identify patterns in the trade. Low volatility environment. Okay, high volume. Accumulation of volatility. Not really great, man. So that's why I hope it fails. Because when nuke, I guess, when nuke go off. All right, we can look at yesterday and look from the best of the Mag 7 to the, well, we'll do the request real quick. I really appreciate the contribution, Gills. That's it, man. I mean, dude, minimum wage these days, it's crazy. Maybe I should start doing drinking streams again, you know? oh my God, Ruru Rimon. Well, there are two ways to look at this, right? Here's the thing, talking about type 2 returns. Ruru Rimon had some sort of M shape that caught a reaction, but then earnings murdered it. Really bad earnings. Market hated it, whatever they reported. It looks like they had a beat, top to bottom beat. Market already had priced that in. It just wasn't good enough. It was too in line. And they said, nah, I'm good, dude. I'm not buying that crap. Dump it. And gap down, how much? Had a 20% gap down on bad earnings, apparently. And not one positive candle seen in, oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not one positive candle in 10 trading days, 10 trading sessions, including the last day on June 5th. So that is why, like, you talk about earnings is coin flip within coin flip. You have no edge leading into earnings, no matter what the structure is, because you could have the best structure in the world, down 20%. You can't get stopped out because it's pre-market after hours, and you're screwed. You have to wait until earnings concludes. Even if the structure is good, because look at this. It was the lowest daily candle close on Lululemon, legit, since May 7th, 2020. You're talking over 5-year lows on the close yesterday.
And then, just like that,
so you're at this one last local level from August 2024. You better pray it holds, because if it doesn't, you are in serious trouble. Like, if they can't hold this local level, which is pretty much twig and thatch, it's not a strong level. There's no history here outside of that one time. The downside potential on Lululemon, if it continues, and look, the thing is, and the problem is, they could literally take this up to test 266, 288, even the gap fill, make a lower high, and then roll over later. That's the problem. But if it breaks this last level, the downside potential is pretty much 28% downside to the next support resistance. You can see a high from 2018, 11, 2019, your COVID crash low there too. Very
bad, boys. Very bad.
There's bears out here.
wow. It's ugly. And there it is, chat. New day. Jesus chimes. Where would be a decent entry? Maybe we get a Japanese candlestick reversal pattern first. Give me a bullish hammer. Give me a bullish engulfing candle. Give me something. At a current time, hands off. Nothing. Do nothing. You do nothing until we get a candle that makes sense. The problem is you're below just all these. Being below 266, 288 is really bad. That is a multi-year range bottom, and you're out of it violently. Indiscriminate selling every day for 10 days. So let's just see. So it was down 20%, but after the sell-off, down another 10% from the earnings. So down 30% in about less than 2 weeks. Yeah, stuff like that, that's something's going on. Something's very bad. Maybe insider selling, institutions offloading violently. Look at the volume signature on that dump. It's the highest volume spike we've seen since March of 2024. So over 1 year lows or 1 year highs on volume on a sell-off. All right, let's Let's do the look on the lates. Here's your Bitcoin. Extremely neutral. I know people don't care. They don't want to hear that. It must be stupidly bullish or scary bearish. I know. But I can't give you that. And yeah, I mean, I think you're flipping coins right now. I think two arguments. Definitely two arguments. 2021 fractal and the M2 Bitcoin correlation chart. It's either 150 or 93K eventually. Yep, you can't have an edge really after an asset goes up 50% in 42 days. And then now the buyers cannot break that level, and they're confirming they cannot break that level. So until you're back above 109.358, really 110.5, that previous major high, you can't really be bullish. You have to be neutral, okay? Neutral here. Long-term uptrend, bro, but you look at the weekly. The weekly closed. Hold on a sec. You see the price action? They're unable or unwilling to break the old all-time high. You cannot go in price discovery until that level is broken with certainty, with resounding price action, high volume, huge candle. They can't do it. So you're just, and this is really important, man. I'm glad we're at the weekly right now. The candle, the old all-time high candle close from December. There it is, set in stone. It reversed there. And then the wick high the next week. So it's a zone, a weekly zone, inflection zone. They've tested and failed the top end, and they're trying, by the grace of God, to hold the bottom end. That is as neutral as it freaking gets, man. So can you care? Does it really matter if they pull it back to 100K or 93K? No, it'd be okay, man. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It would be the end of the world for people that have just found out about Bitcoin, that have been buying in the past, 6 weeks. Yeah, it could be the end of the world for them. They could be murked, especially if they're levered. But man, a pullback to 99.3 to 93K, 2 levels on the daily, it's not the end of the world. It's just, yeah, that is how it goes, man. Well, I know I've talked about, they do it all the time where, dude, we're going to do it. We're going to be kings, man. We're going to take over the world. We're going to make, and dump. We're going to make it, man. We're going to break, type 2 or dump, major dump. Rally, oh my God, dude, we're getting real close. 886, and dump. And you go back to the last cycle too. Bro, we're going to make it. We're going to be all-time. Big sell-off, rally. We're going to make it. New all-time highs. We're going to keep going forever. 100K on debt. Huge dump. And then it was over. Confirmed with a bearish back test. And then the second part of the cycle, we're going to do, we made all-time highs. We're going to do it. We're going to be kings. Sell-off. Back test key levels. Attempted rally. Slightly higher high. Undeniable. Buyer exhaustion on both oscillators. We're going to do it, man. 100K. All right, I'm going to buy my Lambo. Pictures of monkeys going for $1 million. Okay, a Rolex that's worth 10 grand is going for 80K. Virtual yachts, we're going to do it 100, and it was over. And so you're just in a similar situation where like it's the same thing now. We're like, we're going to do, and you can't, you haven't done it yet. So now we're just waiting on resolution of the failed breakouts. So if we can't get back above 109.358, given enough time, it's an easy 99.3 target. That's it. You can look at the monthly too, sure, if you want. Monthly, it was a lot better at the beginning of the month. Obviously, we only have 11 days to go until the close, but super flat. Bitcoin is up $44 on the month now. Pretty much trading at the price it was trading at the close of the all-time high candle close just last month. So you look at the monthly, you're in no problem, man. Couple the handle that is incomplete in its measured move. You still get a $121,000 target here. You may never get there. You might not. You might, because the weekly and the daily falling back below key levels locally. I guess locally on this chart, right? That was 86 days ago, man. Or 186 days ago, excuse me, back in December. So Monthly looks great still. Pause this month and let's just blow it out next month. That'd be great, man. I'm down with that. I'm always on the side of the bulls. I want the bulls to always invalidate bearish arguments or neutral arguments, right? Because we're in a neutral situation right now. To be completely full on bearish or completely full on bearish, I think's irresponsible. You have to understand you're just flipping coins right now. Okay, well, chat, I've been live over an hour, so this is just how it's going to be. Okay, I'm going to go live and try to produce alpha, and for the people that are still watching, you know, I'm going to do what I can to provide value to you. No commercials, 100% crowdsourced. I'm going to do all I can. And then that's it. Okay, it's business. We're looking at charts. We did the analysis. We cover the markets. And that's it. If you want more, get more hype. We need more viewership. We need more everything. Likes. Everything that we've seen in the past, we need all that again. For things to get fun and exciting, crazy, emotional. But there can't be emotion in these markets, okay? So you can't be emotional. So it is all robotic now. Trying to make sense of what's going on. So thanks for the likes, love. Gills, thank you for the only contribution of the stream. I'll be back. Until next time, respect the TA.